What an incredible way to end Masters Shanghai. Gen.G definitely, wow, earned it. I mean, that was an incredible series. You go in and you're watching Gen.G and you see the team they are now. But they truly were a ton of nobodies before this. I mean, you had Texture, who was part of that awful global esports roster, and they constantly misused him. They didn't know what roles to put him in, and my goodness, global esports had legitimately one of the best duelists in the world. I mean, just look at him opping, look at him on Jet, look at him on Raze. The guy is incredibly talented. How you misuse something like that, I mean, Lord, I don't know. You had Meteor, who had middling roster after middling roster, constantly seeing the success of other Korean squads like DRX and not being able to find their own success. And then you even had like Karon, who was somebody who was just a ranked player not too long ago, and for them to like grab all of these pieces and put them together in a roster, I mean, no one believed in this team. I mean, it was just a bunch of random dudes like put together. But I feel like that's the beauty of Valorant sometimes, is that you can put people who have a shared struggle, have shared path, and once you get them together, they build themselves up, they work together. HSK, awful season with DFM, and all of a sudden he's on a winning squad. Like, how that happens, I don't know, but it definitely has something to do with chemistry. It definitely has to do something with circumstance. It definitely has to do something with the stars aligning. I'm not saying it was luck. Those guys earned it. We talk about like mental strength a lot of the time, and we talk about how teams typically aren't able to recover from crushing defeats. And man, I mean, Gen.G won the first map, and then the second and the third map, they were just struggling to maintain their leads. I mean, Team Heretics was fast approaching, and they really were hungry for the victory. And it seemed like by map 3, like, Heretic was ready to pretty much reverse sweep them from after their first victory. And I don't know what happened, but I don't know if you guys remember that kind of shitty Speed Racer movie where, at the end of the movie, like, he races and, he falls behind everybody. The car is like broken down in the middle of like this bowl looking thing. And then he just kind of stops and he feels the moment. And he's able to turn the car back on. And he just zips across the entire racetrack and is able to like pretty much take out like everybody. That's kind of how it felt on map 4 and map 5. Like, Gen.G were having a tough time on Ascent. And they even said in the interview that they were feeling really, really down after losing Ascent, because they felt like that was the map that they had prepared for the most, that they felt they could win the most, and the mental strength to just like come back from that and not only just win, but win in that dominant fashion. Like, it's straight out of a movie, man. So it's incredible to me. That people are able to do that. I mean, this is why I love Valorant, because on one moment it seems like, oh, you're completely down, and then you just start winning and it just snowballs. And I felt like that was like what happened. Like, Team Heretics were like one map away from winning, and at no point did it feel in the last 2 maps that they were going to be able to win that. Like, Gen.G was just a different team at that point. And again, it's just incredible to see that type of stuff. And everyone's a little caught up from like the grand final sort of thing, but man, I think this was the squad to win that Pacific tournament. We've seen Paper Rex try it time and time again, and it felt like every time they would fail, and then they wouldn't be able to like adjust, and they weren't able to find that mental fortitude. As far as like Team Heretics, yeah, I mean, holy cow, that was a crazy run. I mean, Patitek coming in and being the stand-in for this team. I mean, no one really expected them to make it this far. I wouldn't even call it like that they choked. I mean, Gen.G was just a better team at the end of the day. And I mean, the fact that Woot was on Duelist, and he even said himself that he doesn't feel comfortable being in this role. And the fact that they were able to make it this far is incredible to me. As far as like what happens next for Team Heretics, my only assumption right now is that they will most likely drop Patitek and bring back Miniboo as the duelist, as the primary duelist, because the Neon meta is fast approaching. I mean, that new map looks incredible. And yeah, I mean, positive vibes all around. The only thing that I could think of that was just like a complete negative, something that I just left a bad taste in my mouth, was the crowd. The crowd it's so dumb that we have to be talking about like real world politics and how that affects the cheering of a team. And I don't want to get into it myself because I'm just not a political person. I don't really pay that much attention. But why is it that real life politics affects what happens in a game that has nothing to do with politicians, nothing to do with any sort of thing? And if you don't know what happened, basically a while ago, Gen.G made a couple of tweets, regarding some land dispute between China and another country. And so, again, I'm not gonna get into it. You could probably Google it yourself. But it's just so stupid that it carried over. I mean, the crowd literally did nothing for Gen.G. I mean, come on, if you don't like this team, at least boo. Even when people complain about the Brazilian teams, it was the Brazilian crowd at lock-in. I mean, at least those guys were booing. At least those guys were making some ambiance for like the enemy per se. But here it's just like they gave him no reaction, and that's just much worse than just not doing anything. At least Gen.G won, and that's, I guess, the best way to get back at the crowd. But my goodness, it's just, it felt like part of like Gen.G's moment was robbed a little bit. But Pacific won their first trophy at the end of the day, so it wasn't that badly felt. And so yeah, just super proud of these guys. Super excited for Champions. I mean, that's coming up in a couple months. And again, excited for Split 2. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think Gen.G are pretty much in at this point. They got another 3 championship points, so I'll have to check the standings. Maybe I'll put them right here. And yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate everyone being somewhat patient with my coverage of the tournament. I mean, like I said, the time zones weren't like particularly ideal for me, but we try to make it work. And I really did stay up like the last couple of days of like events. I did end up staying, so I mean, the previous week I stayed up for like the first couple matches, and then I caught the other ones on replay. But the last I would say 3 days, I've been staying up trying to watch the whole thing. And yeah, that's why you got this video so early, because it's like 6 a.m. and I'm recording this. So, all right, good stuff, guys. thank you for all your support throughout the Shanghai stuff, on the NRG video and on the Haters Guide to Master Shanghai. And yeah, Haters Guide to VCT America Stage 2 coming soon. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.